Hi, welcome back to the channel. This week we're looking at the newly released Microwave by Waldorf. And this one I'm super excited by, because it's a synth that I've had on my bucket list for years and years and years. But unfortunately, like most hardware synths, I missed the boat and they now cost a fortune. So I'm stuck with the plugin. And the plugin is designed to replicate the hardware exactly one-to-one, which obviously is a positive and a negative. So the positive is you can obviously load patches between them. You can use the plugin as a controller or an interface for the hardware, so I think that is amazing. But as I said at the start, given that I don't own the hardware, that's a bit redundant on me personally. And I would like to see some additional features in here that are not featured on the hardware. For example, maybe a couple of effects, even just basic ones, because this has none. I'd quite like different filter type, or at least a band pass and a high pass. And then if I'm being super greedy, the ability to choose a different wavetable for the second oscillator. But unfortunately none of that is possible. And don't get me wrong, I completely get it, it's fine. I'm just living in a dream world of what would be ideal. But let's look at what we do have. So essentially it's a 2-oscillator wavetable synth. In the middle here is the wavetable, of which there are 88 presets. However, quite a few of these 24 are user presets. So at the moment they contain nothing, or just a basic triangle it looks like. And then in the wavetable itself, if you move this dial here, then you can scroll through the wavetable. One feature I do quite like is the ability to map the wavetable scrolling to the mod wheel, which is quite a cool feature. So it saves the mouse dragging like so, you can just easily move the mod wheel. As I said, both oscillator 1 and 2 use the same wavetable. You can, however, choose where in the wave each one is. So for example, I could have oscillator 1 down at the start here, and then oscillator 2 I could have up at frame 46, for example. To the right of that we have our filter, which is just a standard low pass. This in the hardware is a analog filter, which is quite cool. So it had digital wavetable oscillators into an analog envelope and also an analog filter. Then to the left we can click on the individual oscillators just to open up a few more parameters. So essentially some modulation parameters. Also the wavetable scrolling here, which you can have the set frames like so. We have another tab for filter with again some modulation options. I'm not going to go through all of this because it is quite complex. I think I just want to get on with actually trying to make a sound in it. We have some global options, and then below that we have our envelopes. So we have the wave envelope, a filter envelope, a velocity envelope, and our LFOs below here. So let's get to it. I'm in Ableton, as you can see. All I have going on is my Randunca device. That's simply to generate some MIDI, or a pattern I should say. And then I just have a low cut EQ because we don't have a bandpass, so I just want to cut out some lows. We can scroll through the wavetables by moving this big red dial up. That sounds nasty enough for our needs. Speaking of nasty, the filter is particularly nasty, in a good way. In my Randunca device, you can see here I have some randomized velocity, which is on the top row here. So what we can do is we can add the envelope to velocity. Turn down the resonance a bit. Maybe add a bit of filter envelope. So we need to obviously go to the filter envelope. And one thing I particularly like, and I haven't really found it on many, let's say, older synths, is the ability to modulate each of the ADSR stages. So by that, I mean, if we go up here and we can do velocity. Let's turn this up now. A bit of sustain. We can do the same for the sustain, like so. And now velocity, well, if I choose this, velocity, and now velocity will increase the decay and sustain whenever, or in accordance with this randomized Randunca patch. Let's do the same for the volume envelope. Velocity, velocity, turn this up. Let's just maybe play back some kick and bass just so we have a bit of context, just momentarily. I do actually have this running into the standard Ableton delay and reverb. They're just on their standard settings because, as I said at the start, the plugin itself has no effects whatsoever. Bit of a detune. Let's go down to our LFO. We're going to go sample and hold. And then if we go to filter on our pan, let's put this one on, well, it's already on LFO 1. And let's turn this up, and we should have some random panning left and right. Let's turn the speed up a bit. Let's now go to our oscillator section here. We have our wave modulation. So this is essentially the frame that it's on. Let's put this to velocity and turn that up. I need to investigate that because I did this earlier and it doesn't seem to respond to velocity on mod 1, only on mod 2. I'm not going to call that a bug, I'm pretty sure it's user error, so I need to work out exactly why that is. Let's do the same for oscillator 2. I think it's starting to sound quite good already. Let's maybe flick through some of the tables now, just to see which ones work with those current settings. Just solo for the moment. I'm liking that one. Also, one thing I forgot to mention at the start is when you turn the oscillator level past 4, as you can see, it turns red and adds some nice saturation there. And I guess it must be saturation into the filter, given that it's a VCF. These are all user, so skip through the user presets. I think there are 24. As you can hear, the filter just sounds so good. I'm pretty sure it wasn't designed for this kind of sound in mind, but there we go. Quite like that. Let's add that to velocity also quite a bit to give it some kind of natural reverb there, or tail if you like. With the kick and bass. One thing you'll notice, it runs extremely hot, so you're constantly turning down the master volume. Maybe with some additional atmos that I already have in the track. So yeah, I really like it. It's currently on discount as a promotional offer for the intro. But as always, go and download the demo, see if you like it, and have fun. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.